insurance advisors generally get paid a certain percentage, and their commission is based off of the premiums that go in. But so there's an incentive there for them to potentially push more insurance and overinsure you. But at the same time, you as the entrepreneur need to make sure you're not underinsured when it comes to your house, your cars, your liability protection. And then also on the business side, making sure you got the right general liability, you got the right completed operations, employment practice liability, cyber, etc. So what are the things that you're looking for when you're interviewing different insurance advisors to see, hey, do I have the right person on my team?
Yeah, well, definitely you want to see experience. People who are new to this is not comforting. You want to have people who've been around and seen a lot. You also want to make sure that they have access to different types of policies and different companies. So you can have a captive agent depending on the carrier if it's a really good carrier. But in that case, you're probably going to want to occasionally check with a different carrier. Because although sometimes when you have a broker who shops a bunch of policies, they'll put together different carriers for different coverages and not understand how those policies work together. Whereas if you had someone who worked with one carrier, they would understand it's all under one umbrella. So that's an advantage. On the other hand, if you're with one carrier, they're not going to shop you out there in the market, and they're not going to look at other companies. And again, that's that linchpin partner to make sure that you do that. And then also a personality you can work with, someone who pays attention, someone who's proactive, someone who actually is going to give you good advice on the insurance policies.
Yeah, and I see a lot in this space that there's really low barriers to entry to be an insurance agent and an insurance advisor. You have to pass a relatively basic test at the state level, and there's a huge discrepancy in the technical aptitude between different insurance agents and advisors.
Yep.
And far too often, because the more insurance you sell, the more you get paid, it really lends itself to like a business development role. And you really want to be looking for a tactician, someone who really understands the underlying policies, the sublimits, the language, the exclusions. That's really what you're looking for. Not necessarily the person who's the best at sales and that butters you up, because that person is just selling the policies and moving on. But then you have insurance because when you file the claim, you want to make sure that you've got the right insurance and that you're protected and the insurance is going to pay out. And far too often that's not the case because the agent doesn't really understand your business, or they don't really understand the policy they sold you into. They just sold it and moved on.
Or you've stayed with your same agent for years and you went from an entrepreneur making 50 grand a year to making $5 million a year. And you might be the only client that agent has who's in that situation. So they're not going to have a lot of experience with understanding what kind of coverages you need and what kind of claims might come your way.